Coming up on Speedway Line Report Radio, presented to you by Shaler Acura of Manchester, Connecticut. Tonight, joining me and my co-host, Ricky Rotondo. He scored his first ever career SK Modified feature event Friday night at Stafford Speedway by outdueling Ryan Preece in his Uncle Ted's car. Mike Christopher Jr. will speak with us about that and more. A driver who currently sits third in the point standings in the Premier Division at Stafford Speedway, Michael Gervais Jr. We'll talk to him about his 14th place finish at Stafford on Friday night. And we'll be taking your phone calls. 203-757-1320. We stream live at WATR.com. And to hear our show in a rebroadcast, you can now go to SidsView.com. You can also check us out on the TuneIn Radio and the Simple Radio app. Today is Monday, June 18th, 2018, and Speedway Line Report Radio is headed your way right now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio. I'm Gary Danko here in our Waterbury studio at WATR 1320 AM. We're also streaming online at WATR.com, and you can hear all of our shows in a rebroadcast at SidsView.com. The phone number that you need, 203-757-1320. My co-host, Ricky Rotondo. We're still waiting for Ricky. We hope everything is okay, as Ricky will be working his way into the studio, hopefully in a couple of minutes. And, of course, Ricky also works with Eric Burnt. They had a 16th place finish Friday night over at Stafford Speedway in the Kaz Williams car. And we'll find out more from Ricky when he does join us here in our Waterbury studio. Once again, 203-757-1320. If you want to talk to any of our guests tonight, we'd love to hear from you. We're with you every Monday night from 6 to 7 right here on WATR 1320. Speedway Line Report Radio is presented to you by Shaler Acura of Manchester, Connecticut, and also being brought to you by J.M. Montesano Auto Body, Sign Pro, Jim's Lawn Care Service, Levine Auto and Truck Parts, Prestige Body Works, and Grotto Restaurant. Once again, 203-757-1320. That's what we do here on Monday nights in our Waterbury studio. We talk auto racing, and we'd love to hear from you. We'll take our first commercial break, and when we come back, hopefully Ricky will be here in our studio, and we'll talk to him about how things went over at Stafford Speedway on Friday night with the Eric Burnt car. All of that and much more on this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio.
There's nowhere else like Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler Acura is Connecticut's first Acura dealer. Whether it's an MDX or RDX sport utility or a sport luxury sedan like the ILX or TLX, Shaler has what you're looking for. They also have the area's best selection of certified pre-owned Acuras in the area. Shaler Acura is the only Connecticut Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Dealer of Distinction Award by Acura for outstanding sales and service 18 times. At Shaler, they make owning and driving an Acura easy. Visit their ultra-modern, newly renovated facility today. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street, Manchester, exit 60 off I-84, or visit them on the web at www.shaleracura.com. In the market for a new or pre-owned Acura? There's only one place to go, Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler offers the area's best selection of new and certified pre-owned Acuras, combined with being Connecticut's only Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Acura Dealership of Distinction Award 18 times. At Shaler, we make owning an Acura easy. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street in Manchester, or visit us on the web at www.shaleracura.com.
Opinions expressed on the Speedway Line Report do not necessarily reflect those of WATR management and staff, or the management and staff of the SpeedwayLineReport.com or VintageModifieds.com.
Welcome back to Speedway Line Report Radio here on WATR 1320 AM, also streaming online at WATR.com, and all of our shows can be heard in a rebroadcast going to SidsView.com. And Once again, if you want to talk to any of our scheduled guests, 203-757-1320. And the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, they were at Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park last week. And when it was all said and done, Justin Bonsignore scored his third victory of the 2018 season. Rowan Pennock was second. Doug Colby, who was the pole sitter, would finish third. Ryan Preece was fourth. And rounding out the top five was Dave Sapienza. Then it was Timmy Salamito, Craig Lutz, Rob Summers, Chase Dowling, and Matt Swanson. Those were your top 10. The next stop for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour comes up June 23rd at Langley Speedway. So once again, still waiting for my co-host, Rocket Rick Rotondo. We do hope everything is okay, and he is on his way here to the Waterbury studio. So with that said, Speedway Lawn Report Radio is also being brought to you by Jim's Lawn Service. When it comes to maintenance and lawn service, it's Jim's Lawn Service. Maintenance and lawn care, that's the man that you need. Jim Majorana out of Cheshire, Connecticut, 203-272-2054. If it's maintenance and lawn care, it's Jim's Lawn Service out of Cheshire, Connecticut. So we'll take another commercial break, and when we come back, we'll have Mike Christopher Jr. on. He'll talk to us about his first ever SK Modified feature event win, which came at Stafford Speedway this past Friday night. We'll be back right after this.
In the market for a new or pre-owned Acura? There's only one place to go, Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler offers the area's best selection of new and certified pre-owned Acuras, combined with being Connecticut's only Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Acura Dealership of Distinction Award 18 times. At Shaler, we make owning an Acura easy. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street in Manchester, or visit us on the web at www.shaleracura.com. There's nowhere else like Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler Acura is Connecticut's first Acura dealer. Whether it's an MDX or RDX sport utility, or a sport luxury sedan like the ILX or TLX, Shaler has what you're looking for. They also have the area's best selection of certified pre-owned Acuras in the area. Shaler Acura is the only Connecticut Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Dealer of Distinction Award by Acura for outstanding sales and service 18 times. At Shaler, they make owning and driving an Acura easy. Visit their ultra-modern, newly renovated facility today. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street, Manchester, exit 60 off I-84, or visit them on the web at www.shaleracura.com.
Welcome back to Speedway Lawn Report Radio here on WATR 1320 AM. Once again, we are streaming live at WATR.com, and you can now go to SidsView.com to listen to any of our shows in a rebroadcast. Our first guest of the evening is all set and ready to go. He scored his first ever career win at Stafford Motor Speedway in the SK Modified division. That's the premier division at Stafford Motor Speedway. Mike Christopher Jr. now joins us. Mike, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Congratulations on your first ever victory in an SK at Stafford.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It means a lot.
And I'll tell you, I mean, to outduel Ryan Preece, take us through the night.
Well, we started out in practice. We were pretty good. And in the heat race, we were really fast. Dropped back because of something on the restart. Guy in front of me didn't go and dropped back a little bit. I was able to battle back up to second, and the car was really, really strong in the heat race. So I knew I had a good piece for the feature. And when it did come around, we got out front early, led most of the race, and there was a restart with probably like 13 to go, 15 to go, something like that. And I knew it was me. It was Preece was on my outside, and I knew we were probably the fastest cars on the track because we were pretty much checked out from everyone. But we got racing. He was behind me the whole time. I was just a little bit better maybe, but I was too tight off of four. And he got underneath me down the front straightaway past me. But I knew I had a good car, battled back, passed him back, and thought it was going to be smooth sailing from there. But then we had a green, white, checkered restart, and had to go through that. But came out on top. So
How much pressure is now off you, Mike, now that you scored a win in the Premier Division at Stafford Motor Speedway? Of course, these were cars that your Uncle Ted had a lot of success with at Stafford Motor Speedway, and now you finally get to victory lane. So a lot of weight off your shoulders?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, it's been 4 years and amazing now, so I'm glad to finally get it done and put it in victory lane. Everyone says that the first one's always the hardest, so everything else comes easy, but when you're racing SKs at Stafford, nothing comes easy because, you're racing with the best of the best. Like this past Friday, racing with Priest. I mean, the guy's won on the national level.
Sure.
And then Keith Rocco, too, who has multiple championships and wins and national championships. I mean, it's not easy racing these guys, but it does feel good to finally win. And I guess some pressure is relieved. I don't really feel a lot of pressure often, though. I don't let it get to me.
Right.
I know that it will just drag me down, so I just focus on myself and racing. And that's really all it comes down to right there is racing. And letting outside factors get the best of you is not what you need when you're behind the wheel. So.
We're talking with Mike Christopher Jr. We're talking about his first career win that came at Stafford Motor Speedway this past Friday night. Phone lines are open, 203-757-1320. Michael Gervais Jr. will be joining us a little bit later on this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio. And I always said, Michael, I mean, the best of the best runs at Stafford Motor Speedway. Not only in the SK Modifieds, but you got great competitors in the SK Lights and pretty much all the divisions that run at Stafford Motor Speedway. So, to get that first win has got to be pretty special. What did your dad say after it was all said and done, along with your mom and the rest of your crew?
It was an emotional evening
Sure.
after we got into victory lane, as anyone would be. I mean, not even only my mom and dad, but my whole crew was emotional, all the people that came down. I have a lot of friends at the racetrack, so they all came down to victory lane. They were all emotional too. It was an emotional night.
Sure, absolutely.
Winning in his car and right after their birthday, and then on my for Father's Day also.
You're right.
So all that combined into one, and then to put it in victory lane, it was very hectic in victory lane. There's probably 50 people in the photo. So yeah, it was really fun to be a part of.
And I'm sure your phone was. Yeah, I'm sure your phone must have was blowing up with text messages or phone calls or people trying to reach you to congratulate you on your victory.
Yeah, that was out of control too. From Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook,
right.
Twitter, and all that stuff. On top of all the text messages and phone calls. It was an influx of congratulations. What
else is planned for you in 2018? I mean, I know you also ran a Tour Type Modified a couple weeks back at Stafford Motor Speedway in that Twisted T 80-lap event for the Modifieds. Will we see you doing any NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour racing in 2018 somewhere along the line?
None of that is planned, but I do plan on racing that. The 13 again for the Open 80, July 13th. The car, I was really fast in practice in the heat race and then led some laps in that car in the race. But I guess I didn't save the tires is what it really came down to. We also had some issues that we have to fix and to make that program better because you can't just show up there and not have a 100% race car because those are good guys too in that division. So for the Open 80 class, so you can't show up there without having 100%. And I think for the next race we're going to have that. So I'm really excited about getting back in that car because it was a lot of fun and I miss it. So that's the only plan that we have right now is racing that Open 80 on top of the SK at Stafford. That's it.
Now, how much time do you spend at the shop working on the car with your dad and the rest of the crew?
I get out of work at like 5:30, 6 o'clock sometimes, and I go down to the shop But for the most part, it's Michael Sullivan is still working on that thing. I owe a lot of my credit to him, and same with my dad because he's stuck at the transmission shop all day. A lot on his plate right now. So Michael Sullivan is the main guy that works on that thing. I mean, he's been at that shop for over 20 years, probably more than that. So, yeah, he wrenches on that thing, and he knows what he's doing, so I put all my faith in him.
Okay. Talking with Mike Christopher Jr., talking about the victory this past Friday night at Stafford Motor Speedway and other things that could possibly be coming up in the 2018 season. You know, you look at it where you come from, Michael. You started your career racing the Wild Thing carts at Stafford Motor Speedway. Then you worked up to the Legends Division where you had a lot of success. And as you mentioned, the last 4 years you've been in an SK Modified and, you know, finally putting it all together. And, you know, hard work pays off. And currently you're fifth in the point standings. Are you surprised that the things are clicking so far in the early 2018 season?
Yeah, I know we started off really well. We finished second at the Sizzler, but some post-race issues put us back to 13th, so it didn't really help to start out with the points like that. I had to dig myself out of a hole, and I'm still digging. So I knew we had a good car. It's just getting caught up in stuff at Stafford is something you have to avoid in order to finish well in the points, because I got caught up in a few things already this year, and that backed us up. But I know that we have a really, really good car that Michael Sullivan prepares. So
sure.
We finally got that win, and it proves it right there that we do have a good car. So I'm really excited for the rest of the season. I think the summer stretch has begun, and this is where the good cars come out, and you can see who really is the class act of the field. So I'm really excited for what's in store. And
I'll tell you, Michael, you know, a tip of the cap to the folks over at Stafford Speedway. I mean, they run a good program over there. The SK Modifieds, I think they're getting anywhere from 25 to 26 cars. Their SK Light division is pretty strong. So, and as I mentioned earlier, I mean, the best of the best in the SK Modified. So when you get a victory at Stafford Motor Speedway, you know, you've really accomplished something. And it had to be pretty cool after taking the checkered flag and then coming down and heading to victory lane. That had to be, as you mentioned, an emotional moment to see, you know, to get there, your crew's there, you know, your dad and everybody involved had to be pretty special.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like you said, really emotional. So I pretty much focused on thanking my dad and Uncle Ted and reflecting on all that. So I didn't really have a chance to thank all my sponsors. So if I could do that now.
Absolutely, go right ahead.
I mean, a lot of people go into making this race, my racing career possible. Ginny DeLuca, Mike and Michelle Mayhofer, they're a great family and longtime supporters that have helped me since Legend Cars. And without the support from this family, I would not have the financial means to race. So I'm really grateful for them and all that they do. All of my sponsors help make it possible to run, and I'm grateful for all the support and effort they put in, whether it's cash or products or services, advice, anything like that put into the car. It really makes a difference. So Naproco, Mohawk Northeast, Connecticut Trailers, Craig Equipment Corporation, PT Watts, a lot of people that helped Ted in years before came back to help us. So I'm really happy about them doing that. Eagle Fence and Guardrail, JB3 Construction, Moroso, Waddell Communications, Leaf Racewear. We just got a brand new suit and got to debut it in Victory Lane, so that was pretty cool to do, in a black suit. Hams Welding, Pettit for the power, Troyer, Kloof does our spindles, Sierra Fabrication, Willwood, CWPM. There's a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people involved with you.
Yeah, so many people. I've had the privilege to inherit a lot of support from many of these sponsors through long-time relationships that my dad and uncle built. So to be handed down those kinds of relationships is really special, because without all of these people, none of this would be possible. So I'm really, really grateful for what they do for us.
Let me ask you this. Your dad ever want to get back behind the wheel of a race car, maybe for like a special event?
Oh, that's a good question, man. We have 2 cars because we're racing the one that we have now, which is Ted's.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have the one that I raced the previous years, Al Hankey's Mohawk Northeast car. And we just got that freshened up over the off season, and we're getting it together now. He's making sure it is 100% like everything that he does. So that car is, I really think that car is going to be fast. Whether it's me taking it out the first time or him, that is a good question that no one will know until that happens. So I really don't know. I see that he has the desire. I just don't know if he wants to do it. I'm not sure.
Right, because you guys have never raced against one another, right, on a racetrack?
No. Nope.
So yeah, that would be pretty cool to see your dad get back behind the wheel of a race car. And we all know, that your dad also had a lot of success over at Stafford Motor Speedway and Thompson and Waterford Speedway over the years. But Michael, thanks for being a part of the show once again. Congratulations on your victory. I know there's many more around the corner for you and your race team. As we mentioned, you're currently fifth in the point standings. One win already to your credit in 2018, and good luck the remainder of the season. And once again, thanks for being a part of the show.
All right, thank you.
All right, you're very welcome. Mike Christopher Jr. joining us tonight on this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio. We'll take a commercial break. And by the way, before we go to commercial break, Ricky did call us. Ricky will not be able to join us. My co-host, Ricky Rotondo from R&R Fabrication, will not be able to join us tonight on this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio. He did talk to Steve Noxon, who runs the board here for me at WATR, and he did speak with him. So Ricky is okay, just will not be able to make tonight's show. We'll be back right after this.
There's nowhere else like Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler Acura is Connecticut's first Acura dealer. Whether it's an MDX or RDX sport utility or a sport luxury sedan like the ILX or TLX, Shaler has what you're looking for. They also have the area's best selection of certified pre-owned Acuras in the area. Shaler Acura is the only Connecticut Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Dealer of Distinction Award by Acura for outstanding sales and service 18 times. At Shaler, they make owning and driving an Acura easy. Visit their ultra-modern, newly renovated facility today. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street, Manchester, exit 60 off I-84, or visit them on the web at www.shaleracura.com. In the market for a new or pre-owned Acura? There's only one place to go, Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler offers the area's best selection of new and certified pre-owned Acuras, combined with being Connecticut's only Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Acura Dealership of Distinction Award 18 times. At Shaler, we make owning an Acura easy. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street in Manchester, or visit us on the web at www.shaleracura.com.
Welcome back to Speedway Line Report Radio, presented to you by Shaler Acura of Manchester, Connecticut. The show also being brought to you by J.M. Montesano Auto Body, Sign Pro, Jim's Lawn Care Service, Levine Auto and Truck Parts, Prestige Body Works, and Grotto Restaurant. Prestige Body Works, when it comes to auto body, then you need to head over to Prestige Body Works. They're located in Canton, Connecticut at 3 Colonial Road. So if it's foreign, domestic, exotic, and it's collision or refinishing, stop by and see Carl or Brett at Prestige Body Works. You can also give them a call at 860-693-1350 for Prestige Body Works, 3 Colonial Road in Canton, Connecticut. You can also email them at prestigebodyworks@comcast.net. So I'm glad that you could join us tonight on this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio. We're with you every Monday night from 6 to 7 right here on WATR 1320 AM. We're also streaming online at WATR.com, and all shows are archived at SidsView.com. The gentleman that sits right across from me, who takes care of the board, is Steve Noxon. Steve, what's going on?
Not much, Gary. What's going on?
Not too much. We were talking off air. Now, you're not really a big race fan, but
No.
but I'm sure you have been to races over the years.
Once or twice, yeah. But what I'm finding interesting about it is this is like a lifestyle for you guys. I mean, I know I've met so many people from working the board for you. As you know, I happen to know Donnie Priest. And I mean, you guys live and eat and sleep this stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
how do you get into it? How do you get started?
I actually got into it along with my brother as a young kid going to Plainville Stadium as a race fan. And I always wanted to be on the announcing end of it, where my brother always wanted to be on the writing part of it. So my brother Brian, he writes for Area Auto Racing News, covers the NASCAR Wheel and Modify Tour. He also used to write for the New Britain Herald, back in the day. And, pretty much he enjoys the writing part of it, where I always like to be on this side. But it is it is a lot of work, and a lot of time away from family, and so you got to be
a commitment.
You definitely got to be dedicated to it.
Do you ever drive?
I never drove a race car. I get motion sickness, so I could not drive a race car. No, I never had that desire to drive a race car.
Really?
Yeah, never.
I would think being around it and all this stuff and talking to all these guys and just being right there in the heart of it, that you'd want to get behind the wheel at one point.
No, I mean, I got go-karts and that kind of stuff, but that's the extent of it. I mean, and same thing with my brother. My brother never had the desire to race either. We just liked the atmosphere of being at the racetrack and watching good side-by-side racing. And, a lot of the short tracks here in Connecticut, whether it's Stafford, Thompson, or Waterford, you can see a lot of that. And, we've been to many races over the years. But as you get older, there's other things that you'd like to do as well. And, so there again, it's a big commitment of being at the racetrack. But speaking about being committed, I mean, all these competitors and, and crew members, they're dedicated. They're working at the shops probably,
until midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, right?
Right, depending on how the week was before for them. If they didn't get into a wreck, just, regular maintenance, nothing and bolting the car and checking things over, so they're prepared to get to the racetrack for the following week. And
now, I know Ricky travels down south quite a bit.
Yeah, he goes down to North Carolina.
Right.
He has a home down in North Carolina. He does go to some races down there, but for the most part, he's committed to his regular job. That's why he couldn't be with us tonight. I guess he told you that just lost track of time, and of course he's an HVAC guy, and
today would be the day.
Today, a very hot day, and I really. Hope, that Ricky stayed cool today.
So with all these tracks that are around the Northeast, and again, I'm probably talking like I don't know what I'm talking about here, and most of the people listening do, but all these tracks, I mean, these guys, they'll get out of work Friday afternoon, they'll load up their stuff, they'll head to the tracks Friday night. Most
of the time, if they race Stafford on Friday nights, they load the car probably up on Thursday nights.
Right.
So the car's all loaded, ready to go, and then, you got to leave your job or whatever, depending, by at least 2:33 to get to, depending on where you're coming from, to beat all that traffic, whether it's 84, 91, depending on where you're coming from, get to the racetrack, and then, of course, practice, and then your qualifying heats, then your feature event. And, normally over at Stafford, they get you out of there pretty early, so you can get out of there, and then it's, unload the race car and
get back to work and do it all over again.
Get back to work and do it all over again. So there again, a lot of commitment. A lot of the guys do not get paid. Let's go to line number one. Good evening. You're on Speedway Line Report Radio.
Hi, Gary. John from Watertown.
Hey, John from Watertown.
While you're burning the midnight oil over there.
Oh, yeah, I love Mondays.
Gary, it's been a while since I listened, and I miss listening to you.
Well, we appreciate you calling.
I really like when you give me insight on our local stuff going around here. I've been to, the only place I haven't been to was Waterford for a full-fledged event, and I plan to do that this summer. But on a national level, is there something going on with New Hampshire Speedway? because I get phone calls and emails. They want to give me a $5 ticket just to get me in the door. And anybody that I talked to in the ticket office, I said, listen, the reason why I don't attend the race anymore is because you ruined it. And she said, what do you mean ruined it? I said, did you ever watch one? She said, no. Well, then how do you know what got ruined? So she asked me to elaborate, and I said, listen, they used to have to shift in and out of the corners. Now you just hit the car in fourth gear, and you're gone. You used to see Tony Stewart's rotors burn up going into turn 1 and going into turn 3. In the last race I went up there for, Morgan Shepherd was there. Kyle Busch just breezed right around him like he was in the wrong lane.
Right. How long were you going to New Hampshire Motor Speedway?
I went there. I was going there since the early '90s.
Since for the cup race or for the modified?
Everything. You know what? My foreman, Brian, he told me you got to be nuts to go to cup race. Go watch the modified race, and boy was he right. It was different, totally different, and I learned a lot. But I also learned that when they changed the gearing in the car, it just changed everything. It changed the whole dynamic of the whole race.
Right.
I mean, you know, you're turning a lap over there probably every maybe 32 seconds, 31, something like that. Yeah. That race was over on time. It actually finished early one year.
Yeah. And the modifieds, we definitely know, certainly provide some great action over there. I mean, you've seen those modifieds at New Hampshire Motor Speedway in the draft. I mean, sometimes the lead changes there's quite a few lead changes, and the modifieds definitely put on a good show. Now, will you be going here in July?
I would like to if everything works out. And would you know if Mr. Savali is still racing?
I believe he is still doing some racing, running over at Bowman Gray. I don't know. I know he was. I don't know if he still is or not. You're talking about James Savali, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know he was doing some racing at Bowman Gray, but you can always check out their website and see if you see him somewhere in the finish, or you can if you're on social media, you can always give him a shout out on social media as well.
I watched him beat everybody up in Thompson one Friday night a couple of years ago. He took all the heats, took them all.
You mean Stafford on Friday?
Stafford, I'm sorry.
Right,
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, that was a heck of a night. I mean, it was my first trip there, and the one guy that I picked, I just liked his car the way it looked. I mean, I really didn't know too much about it, but it was just fun to watch him. He just did put on a great show, and afterwards, the beauty of a local track, you walk right up to the guy and say, "Damn, you did good." I congratulated him on his victory.
Right.
And, which nationally you're not going to do that. I don't even think Trump could walk down in there if he wanted to. But the funny part was, I was at Daytona back in, it was 05 or 06. Yeah. I would go to the Pepsi 400 every year. I was a season ticket holder for 15 years for that race.
Yep.
And I got to meet Dick Cheney, because the shuttle couldn't go off because of rain, so they flew him up to the race to wave the green flag. And I was standing on the inside of pit road on the last stall, and he just walked right across I said, "You got to be kidding me! What's he doing here?" And he looked at me and said, "You're the only one who knows who the hell I am." Wow. So we sat on the edge of the pit wall. You don't. If I had the iPhone back then, when we used to go there, Earnhardt. I mean, back then it was so easy. All you had to do was act like you belonged and wear the right golf shirt. You could walk straight in. It was not even a problem.
Well,
today you're not doing that. You got the Gestapo and the goon squad waiting for you. If you don't have 50 credentials on you, you don't have nothing.
Well, John, I appreciate you tuning in to Speedway Line Report Radio. We're glad that you're a big short track fan, and thanks for the phone call here, and continue to listen. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Gary. Have a nice night.
Good show. Do the same. Thank you. John joining us tonight on this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio. We'll take a commercial break. When we come back, our second guest of the evening, Michael Gervais Jr. We're going to talk to him about his 2018 season. I can tell you he is currently third in the point standings. He did finish 14th this past Friday night, but he's off to a good season. We'll talk to him about that and more when we return.
In the market for a new or pre-owned Acura? There's only one place to go, Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler offers the area's best selection of new and certified pre-owned Acuras, combined with being Connecticut's only Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Acura Dealership of Distinction Award 18 times. At Shaler, we make owning an Acura easy. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street in Manchester, or visit us on the web at www.shaleracura.com. There's nowhere else like Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler Acura is Connecticut's first Acura dealer. Whether it's an MDX or RDX sport utility, or a sport luxury sedan like the ILX or TLX, Shaler has what you're looking for. They also have the area's best selection of certified pre-owned Acuras in the area. Shaler Acura is the only Connecticut Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Dealer of Distinction Award by Acura for outstanding sales and service 18 times. At Shaler, they make owning and driving an Acura easy. Visit their ultra-modern, newly renovated facility today. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street, Manchester, exit 60 off I-84, or visit them on the web at www.shaleracura.com.
Welcome back to Speedway Line Report Radio here on WATR 1320 AM. We're also streaming online at WATR.com, and all shows can be heard in a rebroadcast by going to sidsview.com. We appreciate everything that Tom DiMaggio is doing for us for the remainder of the 2018 season here on Speedway Line Report Radio. As we mentioned back a few weeks ago, of course, Tom Ormsby, who had been doing that for many, many years on SpeedwayLineReport.com, was not able to do it anymore. I did talk to Tom today. He is doing well. He wants everyone to know that things are coming along fine, but it's very slow right now. But he still tries to listen to the show every now and then. But Tom has been a big help for us for many years here on Speedway Line Report Radio, and we appreciate everything that he has done. But now, as I mentioned, Tom DiMaggio, who does a great job of covering action over at Stafford Speedway with the in-car cameras, doing a great job, so make sure you check that out. Our second guest of the evening is all set and ready to go. He is currently third in the point standings. Michael Gervais Jr. now joins us. Michael, how are you?
Great. How about you?
Doing very well. Thanks for taking time out to be with us on this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio.
Not a problem.
How would you describe your 2018 season in the SK Modified division at Stafford Motor Speedway?
So far, we're very happy. We had a great start to the year. A lot of top fives. Only a handful of top 10. So it's been starting off really well for us.
Yeah, no, it's been very, very well. And now you are hooked up with a car from Keith Rocco?
That's correct. Yeah, we're racing a Keith Rocco car this year.
What would you say has been the difference? Now, you've campaigned your own race cars for many, many years at Stafford Motor Speedway. What's been the difference between now being hooked up with Keith Rocco? And, of course, we know the talent that Keith has got, and he's got some great race cars in his stables.
No, it's been awesome teaming up with him. I mean, it's great. Every race we go to, we have a really good car. Even nights where we're a little off, I'm still doing really well with it. Mm-hmm. Definitely a lot of knowledge there, and I really don't have to worry about setup and stuff like that myself. Because he's really got a good handle on that himself.
So it's got to take a lot of pressure. Now, do you still have race cars at your shop?
Yeah, we still have our CD from a couple of years ago, but yeah, we haven't ran that since Thompson about 2 years ago.
Okay, so a lot of pressure off of you when you get there. The car is already there, pretty much all set and ready to go.
Yep, ready to rock. During the week, I go down to help him, and it's not even with my own car, just in general. Just, help everybody around there get, he's got a lot of cars to get ready.
Sure. Oh, yeah. No, Keith is doing very well, not only in his racing career, but this program that he started going back a few years ago. What would you say that you've learned the most working with Keith Rocco that you can say, well, geez, I never knew that before, but I just learned, something new? What would that be?
I really can't put any specifics on it, but definitely it's nice being able to, convey what I'm feeling, and he kind of knows exactly, what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And I've learned a lot just being able to talk to him about, what the car is doing, and be able to learn myself what kind of adjustment or what that would feel like to me. And he can tell me when I did this, this is what you should feel, and that's definitely a big help. Just to know, you get that confidence just to go out there and you know what it's going to do.
Now let's go back this past Friday night. As I mentioned, you finished 14th. So take us through your race Friday night.
That was kind of rough. To start, I just couldn't get in the right lane, and when I did, I started moving. There was a little bit people bumping around in front of us, and I got pushed back a little bit. Started making my way back up, and I was passing for 7th place, I think it was, and I got underneath somebody, and it just didn't work out, and I got sideways into the dirt, and then after that, the car just wasn't the same.
Okay. Now, let me ask you, are you going to be branching out, maybe doing some other racing at other tracks during the 2018 season?
As of right now, nothing during the season, but I think we're definitely going to do Thompson again at the end of the year for World Series. Last year, we went to the Speedway for the last race. That was fun. It was the first time I ever drove a modified there, and we finished 4th, so that was awesome. And
sure.
A good possibility of going to Turkey Derby again this year.
Okay, yeah, the Turkey Derby is always a fun race, and especially if it's warm out versus being freezing your butt off. I know I've been to the Turkey Derby many times, and sometimes I remember one time it was pretty warm out, and then there's been many times when you're freezing.
Yeah, most of the time you just got to prepare for the worst. I think last year, I don't think it was that bad last year, but yeah, there's been years where you're walking around in your race suit with a jacket on and everything, and you can't get warm. But
sure.
Yeah, you really don't know what you're going to get until you get there.
Well, we know you're doing a great job behind the wheel of the race car, and you also mentioned, Keith Rocco working with you this year. What about some of your other team members that have been a big part of your success as well?
Well, first of all, I can't do it without my dad and my uncle Gary. They're there every week at the track. My spotter, Ray. And also I got my cousin, Zach, who's there every week helping us out in the pits. Karen, she's always there to kind of get everybody organized, really. She's kind of the team mom.
Right.
So I definitely have a good group of guys with me and girl for this season.
Now, you've been racing at Stafford for what now, 10 seasons?
Yeah, I think so, 10 or 9 seasons.
Okay. So the time kind of flying by?
Yeah, actually, I was just talking to somebody the other day, and they mentioned it was been 9 years, and I was kind of shocked at it myself. It didn't really seem that long ago. I think 2009 was my first year at Stafford, and it really didn't seem like all that time has passed.
Right. And I first got to know you when I was announcing over at the New London Waterford Speedway when you were competing in the Legend division, and and you ran very well when you ran the Legend race cars as well.
Yeah, that was definitely fun racing down there. Definitely learned a lot at that track and the Legend cars, and we got a pretty good handle on it pretty fast there. And that was definitely one of the best tracks, I think, to race Legend cars at.
Yeah, no question. If you had to describe the competition, let's get back to Stafford Motor Speedway. The SK Modified at Stafford Motor Speedway. Of course, I had Mike Christopher Jr. on, who scored his first ever victory at Stafford in the SK division on Friday night. And but how would you describe that the competitors in the SK Modifieds?
Well, first of all, big congrats to Mike Jr. That was great to see him get his first win there in Ted's car. But, yeah, definitely
the competition at Stafford is second to none. Like, you have at least 10 guys who are able to win the race any given night.
Sure.
Or even more than that. You know, all the lap times are so close there. So it's definitely some of the tough competition you have, like, definitely in Connecticut.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And I was talking with Mike Christopher Jr. Earlier, and we were talking about good competition, and the car count is unbelievable at Stafford in their Premier Division, along with the SK Lights as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome that they have that many SK Lights there. It's definitely a good program they got going there. And even to have just, never mind the SK Lights, but even the field of SKs that we have there,
right.
Over 20 cars almost every week is awesome.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned racing at Thompson. What do you like about Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park?
I only get to race there usually once a year, but I don't know. I just love being able to, long straightaways and carrying all this speed in the corner. It's definitely a different track to drive. You're not low on the track. You're high, wide, and handsome there, and it's definitely fun to do.
Okay, yeah, Thompson, and of course a very fast racetrack. We all know that, and so hey, Mike, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll be right back at you, and we're back right after this.
In the market for a new or pre-owned Acura? There's only one place to go: Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler offers the area's best selection of new and certified pre-owned Acuras, combined with being Connecticut's only Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Acura Dealership of Distinction Award 18 times. At Shaler, we make owning an Acura easy. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street in Manchester, or visit us on the web at www.shaleracura.com. There's nowhere else like Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler Acura is Connecticut's first Acura dealer. Whether it's an MDX or RDX sport utility, or a sport luxury sedan like the ILX or TLX, Shaler has what you're looking for. They also have the area's best selection of certified pre-owned Acuras in the area. Shaler Acura is the only Connecticut Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Dealer of Distinction Award by Acura for outstanding sales and service 18 times. At Shaler, they make owning and driving an Acura easy. Visit their ultra-modern, newly renovated facility today. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street, Manchester, exit 60 off I-84, or visit them on the web at www.shaleracura.com.
Welcome back to Speedway Line Report Radio, presented to you by Shaler Acura of Manchester, Connecticut. We are live on WATR 1320. We're also streaming on WATR.com, and all of our shows are archived by going to sidsview.com. Sidsview.com, they listen to any of our shows in a rebroadcast. We heard from Mike Christopher Jr. earlier. We're now on the line with Michael Gervais Jr., who competes in the SK Modified Division over at Stafford Motor Speedway, where he currently sits third in the point standings, and he's off to a great 2018 season. And Michael joins us back on the line. And how many times do you go to the race shop to work with Keith?
At a minimum, once a week.
Okay.
Sometimes two. Mostly go to help Thursdays or something like that to load up, or if anything else during the week, even just to work on, get Thompson cars ready or anything like that.
Right. Now, what made you go in that direction, to park the family car and get hooked up with this deal that Keith Rocco has? How did that all come about, Michael?
Well, after Thompson a couple of years ago, I got wrecked in the World Series, and we weren't, the car was toast, so we weren't sure if we were going to get back, and that's why I ended up racing Glenn Johnson's car for a couple of years. And then at the end of the season last year, we had to look for another ride, and so I raced Keith's car the last 4 races, and we had pretty good success there, so we decided that we would go that direction for next year. And it was great to be able to race the car a couple times last year to get used to it, and then start off the season fresh this year.
Yeah. So big difference from the cars that Keith has compared to the race car that you were driving, your family car?
Well, definitely there's not as much guessing game to go with it. You know, a lot of the times, you know, it's trial and error with us, but, you know, with Keith's experience and, you know, he always had the car ready to go for us. So there really wasn't that much worry as far as, you know, how we were going to do that week. Like, we know that every time we go into track, we're going to be good. It's just a matter of luck and, you know, we can get in the right lane.
Sure. Now, we mentioned that you've been racing now over at Stafford for 9 seasons. Is there still something to this day competing over at Stafford Speedway that it's been very hard for you to maybe get used to driving on the racetrack there?
Well, as far as, you know, I wish I knew a lot when I was first starting out. But as far as now, I don't really think there's anything that I have to get used to anymore.
Right.
But, you know, it's just as far as, you know, recognizing where you got to go. Because a lot of times in the starts, when you start in the back, you don't know what lane you're going to get in. So it's kind of just making smart decisions as far as, you know, where you're going to go, whether it's the outside, inside, who's backing up, and like that.
Now, I believe it was within the last couple of weeks you had the in-car camera that Sid DiMaggio provided. Was it this past week or was it the week before?
I believe it was 2 or 3 weeks ago.
2 or 3, okay. How was that? Did you go back and look at some of the footage?
Yeah, it was definitely awesome footage that he provided. Definitely a lot of cool views, and you know, every single video he puts out is awesome.
Oh yeah,
it's definitely cool to be able to, you know, see myself in that same situation.
Sure, yeah, no, he definitely does a great job. And once again, for everybody, you can now go to sidsview.com to listen to Speedway Line Report Radio. But Michael, I want to thank you for being a part of the show, and once again, good luck in the remainder of the 2018 season. I know there's a victory right around the corner for you and your race team, and it's always great to have you on the show.
All right, thank you very much for having me.
You're very welcome. Michael Gervais Jr. joining us tonight on this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio. Speedway Line Report Radio is also being brought to you by J.M. Montesano Auto Body Works, specialist in auto collision, all work guaranteed. They're located at 390 Lombard Street in New Haven. You can give them a call at 203-865-1389. J.M. Montesano Auto Body Works. Once again, they are specialists in auto collision, all of their work guaranteed. 390 Lombard Street, New Haven. Give them a call if you've been in an auto accident. 203-865-1389. And don't forget the Grotto Restaurant, located right here in Waterbury, Connecticut. So once again, Ricky Rotondo could not be with us tonight, and Ricky, of course, the owner of R&R Fabrication. He also works with the Eric Burnt race team. He's been with them for many, many years. But I know Ricky will be back with us next Monday night, and I can tell you one of our guests next Monday night will be Sammy Swindell. Tim Bertrand is also going to join us, so you want to tune into that. So next Monday night show, we're going to have Sammy Swindell, who will join us here on Speedway Line Report Radio. Appreciate Tim Bertrand, who reached out to me last week and asked me if I'd like to have Sammy on the show. I said absolutely. So Sammy Swindell next Monday night. Tim Bertrand will also be joining us as well. Speedway Line Report Radio is presented to you by Shaler Acura of Manchester, Connecticut. And it's also being brought to you by J.M. Montesano Auto Body, Sign Pro, Jim's Lawn Care Service, Levine Auto and Truck Parts, Prestige Body Works, and Grotto Restaurant. And a big thank you to our guest tonight, Mike Christopher Jr., who scored his first ever victory in an SK Modified at Stafford Motor Speedway in their premier division, the SK Modifieds. And, you know, whenever you see somebody get their first ever victory, it's always special. But I know Mike Christopher Jr. and his team, they've been working very, very hard to get to victory lane. And, of course, you know, I'm sure Uncle Ted is smiling down when he scored that victory, and a car that Teddy used to campaign over at Stafford Motor Speedway. So that's going to wrap up this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio. Once again, we will be with you next Monday night from 6 to 7 right here on WATR 1320 AM. And remember, we do stream live at WATR.com, and all shows are archived at SidsView.com. So if you couldn't listen to us live, make sure that you go to SidsView.com. So that's going to wrap up this edition for Steve Noxon. And once again, Speedway Line Report Radio presented to you by Shaler Acura, Manchester, Connecticut. We'll talk to you next Monday night at 6 p.m.
The preceding has been a GMD production. Don't forget to listen to Gary next Monday night for more auto racing news on the Speedway Line Report. And remember, the show can be heard in a rebroadcast on SidsView.com.